Sunday, August 13th, episode 16. The Dome Foamers podcast is back. I am your host, Christian Kruger, and always I'm with Neil Mieski and Brian Dorton. And we're just lifelong Astros fans that love talking about the Stros. So, boys, let's go. All right, here we are. We're back. Episode 16.
16.
Wow, episode 16. So before we dive into it, we want to thank our title sponsor who has been generous enough to sponsor us. So, Two Gringos Chupacabra Rub and Season All. Two Gringos makes the finest rub, salsa, chips, jerky, and marinade you've ever tasted. If you haven't tried their products, please do it today because you don't know what you're missing. The main thing you need to know about Two Gringos Chupacabra products is that they are so good because they use the finest ingredients and never, ever take shortcuts when it comes to quality. This is why we are proud to have Two Gringos Chupacabra as our title sponsors. You can find them in a grocery store in your area or on their website at twogringoschupacabra.com. That's the number 2, gringoschupacabra.com. And again, we were all product users before they sponsored us, so please try them out. They are phenomenal. All right, we got our sponsor taken care of. Boys, we are 68-51, 2.5 games back, 4-2 week. Brian Dorton.
You're welcome.
You're
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not going to applaud you.
How'd the game go today?
We're going to get to there. Would you let me finish?
You two. How'd the game go today? You two.
Neil and I said 5-1. As much as I would love to say we should have been 5-1, we shouldn't have won the Monday game in Baltimore. Thank you, Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker.
The best win of the year. So let's at least say that the best win of the year,
hands down.
And then Neil and his son and myself and my middle son, belated birthday, drove to go to the game. And of course, which we stated, the Astros scored 11 runs Friday, 11 runs Saturday. And in my mind, they scored 0 runs today. Yes,
0.
They lost 2-1, but it was a pass ball that Big John Singleton decided to score on, and he did. We knocked 0 runs in and left 8 on base. So typical Astros. I sat in the Crawford boxes for the first time. I've sat everywhere in that place. I wanted the Crawford boxes to take my son there. Way closer than we used to buy, $3 or $4 tickets to General Mission in the Dome.
Yeah.
Cool seats, had a blast other than the game itself. Sat next to randomly bought tickets and randomly sat next to someone who graduated from St. Joseph High School. Go Flyers.
Hey.
And her husband is from Cuero. Joey and Kirby Adams. Shout out to them.
Wow.
They immediately subscribed to the podcast and followed. Great people. They know my family. They know my cousin really well. They know my dad. Completely random. Typical Victoria stuff that always happens. And so there you go. So
don't meet a bunch of Cuero people around. That's awesome.
But another Flyer, of course.
Yeah.
We met Rip Griffin, who reached out to us after seeing us in the St. Joe magazine advertised, who does the Texas Baseball Report. Shout out to him, another Flyer, and now follows us and has kindly retweeted and promoted some of our stuff. So a shout out to him. I mean, I feel like 7,000 people went to St. Joe a year, and that's just not the case. It's just
No.
It's just great. It's crazy.
You're looking at 3% of the class of 96 right here.
That's right. That is right. So let's move on to the Stros. Neil? coming to you first. I know I got to see you today before the game, and your son. Cool deal. They both wearing Jordan jerseys, and Jordan
Yeah, that
was
was
playing
pretty
left,
awesome.
right in front of us. That was cool. So Mieski, I want to hear some of these thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just coming off the natural high off of a, 2-1 loss, a Sunday
A
loss
banger.
to
It
where,
was a banger of
oh
a game.
man, I mean, talk about nail biting on the edge of your seat. Roll over to the third baseman after roll over to the third baseman game. I mean, if that doesn't get you fired up, I mean, geez Louise. No, I mean, yeah, today was a disappointment, and the week overall is not a disappointment because anytime you go 4-2, you should feel good about what you're doing. Just unfortunately, we're not gaining ground on the Rangers, which I think we'll talk about, down the line here. But uh, again, you can't be upset about. You can control what you can control. We can control what we're doing. Like you mentioned earlier, we were fortunate to win one that we probably shouldn't have, and I think I said it previously. Sometimes you're going to win some you shouldn't. Sometimes you're going to lose some you shouldn't. So you take those, and it's a wash, so to speak. But overall, we're okay. We've got to figure out some pitching rotation, whether we're going to continue this 6-man thing or who's going to go where. Hitting, for some reason, Dusty Baker must have given the pen and paper to somebody else to fill it in. Seems like we're going the right direction, although today Kessinger was in the lineup, which I don't understand, but things we're going the right direction as we approach mid-August. So all in all, can't complain necessarily. We'd like the Rangers to lose a little bit more and help us out, but we're not in control of that. So feel pretty good.
All right, Jordan.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'd say positives. I think Neil nailed it. We're someone either got word to Dusty that maybe these Dome Femmer guys are right about the lineup, or someone else is putting pen to paper there, because what was it? It was yesterday's lineup that it was one of the rare moments where nobody had anything bad to say about it. It was, and even the day before,
it was hard to find something to complain about.
The day before, it was like, well, we still got this person, we still got but it was decent. And then yesterday's, I pulled it up: Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez, Tucker, Diaz, McCormick, Big John, Pena, and Myers. Boy,
yeah,
seems pretty good. That seemed to have produced 11 runs ish.
Weird,
right?
Weird
ish.
Yeah.
Weird. I don't know. So good news is maybe putting Abreu on the injured reserve was a good thing. It gave Dusty an opportunity to put out some actually good lineups. It's tough looking back today and seeing, we know number 8 and 9 are going to be 90% of them are going to be outs. That's tough.
Yeah.
Like when you just see it and you just know it.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't.
It reminds you of the National League days of, Adam Everett and then the pitcher.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes.
100%.
And if they bat three times,
except
a
we
game,
have a friggin' DH now.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead,
So
D.
anyway, yep, those are some positives. Negatives, we obviously have seen what our offense is capable of, and then our offense just turns absolutely anemic like today. And so it's kind of, back to reality when you see it today. Today was kind of a smack in the face of like, ew. 11,
Yeah, we
11,
watched
and
it.
you're absolutely right. Like this may as well have been a shutout, to be honest with you. This-
Neil and his son came to the Crawford boxes to say hi, and we were all talking about prediction for the game. And my first reaction was 4-0, we lose. Did I not say? I said, Neil,
Yep.
based on last two games, we're going to get shut out. And I was half kidding and half not. And with the exception of a pass ball, we were shut out. But look, okay, the game today was a dud.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple things. Why is Gray Kessinger on this team?
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Don't know.
I mean, Dubon can back up Altuve, Pena, and center field.
And this wasn't even a give. This wasn't even a give. Altuve a day off day, right? Like Altuve
no,
is
like,
DH.
it was a Pena give off the day. So,
yeah, but Dubon, what?
I know. So look, I have been hard on Pena.
That son of a gun is better than Gray. That's for sure.
100%.
Yes.
I have no
Yes.
problem with Jeremy Pena batting 7 or 8. Zero problem.
None.
My issue with Pena is he should never bat 2 ever again. Okay?
Fine. I'm fair with that.
But he is light years better than playing Gray Kessinger. So why did we not pinch hit for him? And look, if you totally wanted to do the Dusty and say, hey, I'm putting my feet up, Pena needs a day off, I'm actually okay with that. He probably needed a mental reset. I'm okay with that. You had Jake Myers could have hit.
Myers could have hit. Yeah, Myers is better than
Gray
him.
Kessinger. And you're leading off the 9th. And look,
Yes.
the right call is Diaz to hit for Maldi, and Diaz struck out. I mean, he did.
Yeah,
that's going to happen. But it's still, I'd rather have him up there striking out because Maldi was an auto out. By the way, I'm going to get on Maldi not getting a bunt down. I don't even want to go.
That's
okay. Whatever. That's today's game. Let's talk about the week and where we are as a whole. And Neil brought up the pitching rotation. I think I figured out what they're doing because I was mad. I was mad last week with them skipping France. So now they're skipping Brown.
They're giving him time off, right?
Well, so Brown and France are either right there or they're over the most innings they've ever pitched in a season ever.
Yeah.
So I get it. And then now who's after that as the tandem guy? I don't know. But we play one more Thursday. I think we play next Thursday against the Red Sox. And I'm just in my head. And we don't play another Thursday the rest of the year. It's back to that scheduling quirk that we had at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, June. I think it was June.
Yeah. May. I think it was April and then some of May. And then
so yeah.
So I think that's what they're doing. They're doing a little load management. I saw that they're doing Valdez, Javier, Verlander Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against the Marlins. And because we're off this Thursday and then we play next Thursday and then we're done for Thursdays the rest of the year. So that's what they're doing is they're cycling the guys that are over their innings and their tandem, which look, I get it. I understand that. Not sure I would have done it the same way, but again, they're paid to do that. So that's what they're doing. Who goes after? Because I think there's going to go one more turn through. Whoever that person is, I don't know.
So you're saying, hang on. Before you finish that thought, I want to be clear on this. So we're going to go Valdez. We're going to go Valdez, Javier, Verlander when we're at the Marlins.
That's what when I pulled up to Minute Maid today, I saw that on Twitter.
Right.
That's what they were doing.
And so Thursday is a bye. Friday would be France. Friday would be France's turn versus Seattle at home.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday would be your Queedy.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, are we going back to Valdez, or are we going to go back to? Is that when Hunter Brown comes back? I mean, What's
So
your
if
thought?
if
There's
they
nothing
follow the same thing as Frenchie, then yes,
that would be what you're
then
thinking is going to be Hunter.
Brown would be that in that
So,
series.
so
That's not necessarily
my
true. That's not necessarily true. So what they
Or
did
Brown
with
would be
the
back in the
first time,
rotation, I guess. Yeah.
they did your Urquidy tandem with France. So
yeah.
now I think they're going to do your Urquidy tandem with Brown. Skip his start. They're trying to prevent innings for France and Brown.
And
So
they were
basically-
limiting Urquidy. They were limiting Urquidy today as well, no matter
Correct.
what.
So they said 80 to 90 pitches, which
Well,
I don't want to get too
he
much in this. He threw pretty good today.
Yeah, he got into the sixth and he gave up a hit and that was it in a hurry. So
Yeah.
so basically Brown's going to be on standby for whoever
Was that a hit?
falters.
Was that a hit or was that a
Well,
crush?
yeah.
Okay.
No, he didn't give up the homer.
No, he didn't give
That
it
was
up.
Oh yeah,
him.
you're right. Yeah, sorry.
That
Yeah,
was-
you're right.
that was
He
the moosh.
gave up a hit. He gave up
That's
a
right,
hit,
you're
I
right.
believe, and then they brought in Parker Mieski,
Mieski. Yeah.
and got a double play, and
Yeah.
then Otani hit one where only Jordan can hit one
Correct.
off of him. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have anything that's confirmed, Neil, to answer your question. That just seems to me what they're doing is,
Yeah.
and they're going to tandem Brown and Urquidy. And then I don't know. Then Brown will get slotted back in after that because kind of like a he's going to throw into it bullpen day. And then I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do it one more rotation or not. I don't know.
Yeah, cuz I mean there's the
But
obviously
now, go ahead.
obviously there's some question marks on even Javier,
No
and
doubt.
he had a good start in Baltimore, but in some ways I wouldn't hate to see him have one of these like
I
take
wouldn't
a
either.
breather moments.
Hey, you want me to get real?
Talk
I
to
wouldn't
me.
mind that. I wouldn't mind Valdez taking a breather.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. I don't. I'd have to be convinced.
Look
on
at
that,
his
but
last five
but-
starts.
I was gonna
plus the
say,
no-hitter.
but you take out the no hitter, and he has
Not
struggled
been good.
mightily. No, for sure. So yeah, I mean, maybe so. I mean, this may be the way of.
And they won't. That's fine. He can get extra days. I'm just saying, like, it's not like Valdez has been pitching good. He has not.
Right. Now, so I mean, the last day he pitched was Tuesday, so he's going to come around on Monday. So, okay. I mean, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, so let's talk about the next subject, and this is something we need to like really let's not overreact to, but let's dissect this thing. Abreu goes on IL. We call up Big John. Big John goes Gonzo Friday night.
Yep.
Had a single as well, went 3 for 5. Hasn't done anything else.
I see what you're getting at. Yeah.
Well, I'm just other than I will say this: what I like about Big John so far, he walked twice today,
Mm-hmm.
Twice, 2 times.
so he's not pressing. You got to think that dude, not being in Major League Baseball for 8 years, is going to press, right? And
Yeah,
I'm even
proven.
more impressed with him not pressing.
Yeah.
I personally think the biggest issue of the offense is the on base percentage. There is some weak on base percentages, weak, and there's some
Agreed
people that
with
have
that.
on base percent. There's some people that have on base percentages that it's not good, and we can go down the line. There's multiple. However, how long do we think Abreu's out? And tapping the brakes, understanding everything that's going on here, what do we think Big John can really do?
Well,
So I'll go ahead, Brian. You can
yeah,
go.
I mean, potential wise, I mean, we know that Abreu potentially can do better based on previous years, and previous years being even last year. But sure as heck hasn't done it this year. You know, that
No.
is absolute, right? That is absolute. And he even said it, right? But I think what you're getting at is if Big John doesn't have kind of the next two series need to be the games of his life. And if they're not, then there is all right, Abreu's back.
Which he could still DH.
He could still DH. Absolutely. Yeah. You're absolutely right. However, if Singleton has 2 home runs and a base hit and maybe a few walks and 3 base hits in Miami, or 2 base hits in Miami, and then comes back and has just maybe 1 more home run and then goes for the rest of that. I think at that point you're having the question of, well, I mean, is this any better than Abreu?
Well, realistically, what do we think he can do? Like realistically,
I think that putting him in there is going to be as good or better than what Abreu is playing at right now. He's already produced more than Abreu has in his first 3 games than Abreu did in his first 2 months as an Astro.
So
Mieski.
all right. So offensively, I'm going to say it's somewhere around a push. Believe it or not, I'm going to feel like it's somewhere's in that. There's some things John brings that Abreu doesn't, and maybe Abreu brings some things that John doesn't. And so I know he hit the home runs or whatever, and that was awesome for him and obviously the team. But I don't think I'm not about to just jump ship on Jose Abreu, who has obviously struggled, and we've documented that clearly. The difference, I mean, I saw him make a unbelievable play at first base today.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable play.
Several defensive plays that have been.
And I know where
terrific.
you were sitting. That was right in front of y'all.
Yeah, right. So we're club level first baseline, and I think there's no freaking way.
Where were y'all on the first baseline?
Club level.
Oh, my bad.
All right. yeah.
Making sure.
I did punk Brian today on that. Unintentionally, by the way. Anyways, but it was one of those like, no way, holy crap. That was a phenomenal play to see him make, which led me in my brain to start going, well, that may be the difference. And I don't know what his first base defensive stats are by any means, but that was something that made me go, holy cow, does Jose Abreu make that play? So
no,
I don't think so either. I mean, I don't think so either, but it will definitely be interesting to see where this all goes. Again, I'm not flushing John Singleton down the toilet. I'm not flushing Jose Abreu down the toilet. I mean, guys, if Jose Abreu struggles all year long and then shows up in the playoffs, we will quickly forget the struggles that he had in the regular season. And so until this season is a wash, until it's over with, I'm not closing the book on Jose Abreu by any means. He's a guy that he's been in the league long enough, and maybe some time off, maybe some rest, maybe some. And again, who knows? This is the Astros, so this back strain, back issue thing, that could be the scapegoat. That could be the out for saying, we want you to take some time off, get your mind right, get your body right, take a little breather as we hit this late August, early September stretch where we're going to need you. And I just think those two combined are good. Ultimately, John Singleton, if he can continue to be relevant, is a good option for us, a good left-handed option.
So let me ask you this. If Big John walks out there this week and goes, I don't know, 450, 475, hits a couple of dingers, and then Dusty throws Abreu in the lineup on Monday against Boston, what are you going to say?
I'm probably, and I'm as
Can
big
I
as
can I answer?
No, this was to
well,
Neil.
I'm riding the hot.
Fair.
I'm riding the hot hand. But guys, he's on the 10-day IL, which so was Jordan.
But it was retroactive, though. It was retroactive.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, it doesn't
so was
matter. It doesn't
Altuve.
matter.
Yeah.
Neil's right on that. That doesn't matter. I mean,
All right.
I mean, and so
Okay.
I'm just saying, I'm all for riding the hot hand. There's absolutely no doubt. I mean,
I'm just over
you
here
know,
waiting.
I'm going with John Singleton if that's the case until John Singleton is no longer the guy. So, all right, your turn, CK.
All right, go. Let's hear it.
John Singleton will produce more than Jose Abreu is if he gets to play the rest of the year. He will have a higher OPS plus / WRC plus, basically the same, very similar. Now, again, that's not saying a whole lot because Jose Abreu, I believe, is the least productive first baseman in Major League Baseball this year. So if
I
you
wouldn't
allow,
argue with you there.
well, I don't think you can. If Singleton is the everyday first baseman to finish the year, he will be an upgrade. Again, I don't think he's going to go win an all-star game. I don't think he's going to be lightning in a bottle. But I think he is going to be an upgrade over the black hole of production in the order that Abreu has been.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we need because he's left-handed, has power, and he has 20% of as many home runs as Abreu has already. He already has 20% as many home runs.
But the key thing here again is if he played, then your situation comes into play. Like if John Singleton was the first baseman for the rest of the year. Now, that's fantasy land because we all know who manages this team. Well,
no, that's a fair point. You know that.
I'm going
I agree with you there. I'm saying if, maybe Abreu's hurt worse than we think and 10-day turns into 60-day, and I'm not saying it is, and I don't want any of these guys. Well, maybe I don't. Okay, never mind. He's going to be out longer than 10 days. He just is because that's what they do. Plus, it gives Singleton a longer runway to see what he can do.
Sure.
So, look. So, okay, Neil, you brought up a great one. Let's say Abreu's out for 3 weeks, which is probably grind. 36 years old, needed. Let him rest the back, and then he comes back. Okay, I get it. Maybe he resets. One of them can DH and the other one can field.
Yep.
And I think from the minute Singleton is called up, this is just me projecting. I think he will be a better offensive player than Abreu has been this year. And again, that ain't saying a whole lot.
Right.
Like I'm not going out on that's not like a super hot take. It's not. But if he can be an upgrade, even a slight upgrade to what Abreu's done, you got to play him, man. And if they need to be split, if they need to rotate, if they need to have Abreu bat against lefties and Singleton against righties, if they need to DH, whatever it is, but like Dubon needs to play when Altuve needs to DH or when Pena needs to sit. It doesn't need to be great.
And we don't need to do both of those. We don't need to do both of those at the same time.
Correct. No, I agree with you. Like, you shouldn't have Dubon, Kessinger,
Nope.
Maldi.
That should never happen.
Yeah. So in 5 games, which is what John Singleton has played, and again, one of them was the Kyle Tucker Grand Slam Baltimore game. So really, he's played 4, or did he pinch hit in another game too?
So he only pinch hit in that game.
So
That
he's
game,
only
he
played.
started that. He
Remember,
started
he
that
walked.
inning off. Yeah, he
Yeah,
started
yeah,
that
yeah,
inning off
yeah.
with a walk
That's
and
what-
an
That's on.
incredible walk.
So he's only played first base in this last 3 games. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't play in Baltimore. Okay, so we're talking about 3 games full time player, 2 so far, 2 games as pinch hitting role. So in 3 games, and then 2 additional pinch hit, which has totaled up to 14 at bats. He's walked 5 times, which is
That's
good.
incredible. It's
It is
incredible.
He's gotten 3 hits. Obviously, 2 of them are home runs, and then and they were all in one game. I get all that, but when you combine the hits and the walks, his on base percentage is .421. Right. So early sample. Not saying
No doubt.
he's about
100%.
to
No,
steal the Major
no,
League Baseball show.
It 100% is, but the walks are a good sign.
That it's amazing. So I don't care who plays first base for us. I just want somebody to produce there because we haven't had that very often this year.
Hey, how many? So you have it in front of you. How many plate appearances has he had? Seriously, how many plate appearances?
He's got 4.
Played
So he's got 14 plate appearances with us.
5 walks.
29, 5 walks. 29 with Milwaukee earlier.
I don't
this
care
year.
about Milwaukee. So he's got 14 with us, 5 walks. How many Ks?
Yep. He has got struck out twice.
So he's at a 2-to-1 ratio walks to K. Again, small sample size, very small. But
He had to have played 2 times against the Orioles because he's listed as 5 games over the past 7 days.
But I think that was
Yeah.
pinch hitting.
Pinch hitting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
oh wait, no, it's greater than it's 5-2. It's
2.5.
2.5 to 1. That's again small sample size, but that's a good sign. I mean, again, walking 5 times compared to striking out twice. Okay, I mean, I'm taking notice.
Sure.
All I'm going to say is I think he'll be an offensive upgrade if he's allowed to play than what we've had for the year. I don't. Again, do I think he's a better player? No. I mean, I'm just telling you. Maybe there's something truly wrong with Abreu. Maybe he's tired. Maybe the back is an issue, and he probably should have had time. Maybe on the IL before now. I don't know. We will never know. I think Singleton needs it back to see a larger sample size to see. And you know what? We could be back here 2 weeks from now and be like, oh my God, he's terrible. He's back in AAA. We
Sure.
could.
Sure. Yeah.
But early returns are like, let's see more, right? I mean, let's see more.
And for the record, he did start at first base the last getaway day in Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
his
when
first-
that's when
That makes sense
Abreu
now.
was. Yeah, Abreu was starting to.
So
Yeah,
I think that's
so
when.
it was the second game that he pinch hit. Okay. Yeah,
Pinch
that makes
hit.
sense. All right.
Started the last game, goes 0 for 4, but does have a walk.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mieski, we're 68-51, so that's 119 games.
Yeah.
How many games we got left?
So that would be 43.
Wow, that's it. We have 43 games left. You need, out of those 43, I said 92 wins when we did that. You said 95. So you need
Where are we at?
You do the math.
68?
you need
Yeah, so
26 and no, you need 27
27.
and
So
16.
27, 40. We said 43.
27
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
That's doable. I mean, it's doable.
You would think.
It's doable. But that's the thing. Like, you can't. So before we got on this podcast, just for those out there that are listening, or they're following us, like, it was all cool a month ago or 6 weeks, 2 months ago. We were saying, hey, just win the series. When you're leading, that's all you need to do. When you're chasing, you got to start sweeping weaker teams.
Sweeping. It's sweep time.
It is. And that's why today was so frustrating,
Yep.
is because you had an opportunity. The Giants end up beating the Rangers because the team up north. And so you could have been 1.5 back. Instead, you lose this game, so you're 2.5 back. And now you're thankful the Giants pulled it out. And so, it's sweep time. And
Yep.
so my theory on the next 43 games, it's going to come down to 12 games. Yes, 12. 6 against Kansas City, 3 against Oakland, and 3 against the Rangers. Those 12 games are going to define. Yes, if you lay a dud in the rest, no. But I think the Astros will play, kind of patty cake, right? Give some, take some. I think they very well could be, a couple games over 500. How they fare on those 12 that are all in September, by the way.
Yep.
Is going to define if we chase them down or not.
Yeah.
And
sure,
it needs to be 9-3 and no less.
Oh, on those. Yeah, absolutely.
So you assume, you go to Arlington, you go to Canada, and
Hopefully-
take 2 out. You
hopefully you win
want to take
2.
2 out of 3. Yeah, correct. 2 out of 3. Then the Royals, you need to go 5-1.
Hopefully 6-0.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then 2 out of 3 again. 2. Is Oakland here or is Oakland out there?
Oakland's here.
Oh, dude, you need to go 10-2, honestly. And I really do. We play a bunch against Seattle. We play the Red Sox 7 games. We play the Yankees in a series. I'm still pissed about going 2-2 against the Yankees. That should have never happened. We should have gone 3-1.
Well,
But
we've got them.
that's what I'm saying.
We've got them here
Yeah.
at home and then directly to Canada. We go 3.
Those 12 games
Yeah.
against the team that's 2.5 ahead of us, and those 9 weaker teams, that will define where we end up. If you go 7-5, 8-4 against those, you're playing for the wild card.
Yeah. Because when you look at this, you've got relative teams, and I still think the Mariners are relative. Obviously,
I agree with you, and they're next
absolutely.
weekend, by the way.
Yeah,
they're next weekend. They're red hot.
Well, we end with a series. Okay, like starting at the end here, we end with on the road at Arizona. Okay, so
Which
that's
they've
our
been
last
absolutely
week.
terrible.
Okay, so then the series prior to that is
Mariners.
at Seattle. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so those are huge.
and
so
the week before that, we get Baltimore at home.
Correct. Who's fighting for their lives. And, it's like we have an important series. We have a lesser team. And again, there's nothing that's a give me. But each week, you're going to find yourself in the thick of it. And then you play like this week, the Los Angeles Angels or Anaheim Angels, whoever they are. So we've got 1 week to where you go, there it is. And it's September 11th through 17th, looking at the schedule. We play home versus the A's, and then we play at Kansas City. That's a huge week.
And then in Kansas City, either on the back end of that, or either
before. Yeah, so before the Baltimore. After
Okay.
Baltimore. So we go at Kansas City, home for Baltimore, and then home for Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then to Oakland.
And then to Oakland, to Arizona.
Seattle. To Seattle.
I'm sorry, Seattle. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But the week prior to the quote unquote the week prior to the A's in Kansas City is the Rangers and Padres. And so it'll be, where are the Padres at that time? Have they done September call-ups and said, let's take a look, or are they still, fighting for their lives as well? So there's our schedule is a little dicey, yes, we say we've got a friendlier schedule maybe, but man, I don't know where San Diego's a wild card in the aspect of I don't know where they're going to be.
Where do we play San Diego?
Home.
I might. When is that? What are the dates?
Those are 8th, 9th, and 10th.
8th, 9th, 10th.
That's
So
after the Rangers.
Yeah, September is Yankees, Rangers, Padres, A's,
And then
Kansas, Orioles, Kansas, Mariners, D-backs.
Dude, get through August 2 or 1.5 back and game freaking on.
Yeah,
That's all
but
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
say.
you say that, but it's September starts off with Yankees Rangers, San Diego.
I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna keep this PG. Screw the Yankees.
Sure. Well, again, it all boils down to like we're in control. Like we
Absolutely,
can,
100%.
Who was Tampa playing? Who are they playing for in September? Because they're not playing us. They're not playing the team
Probably
from up north.
no. They're probably playing AL East. They're probably playing a ton
Yeah,
of division games.
Is it just all? But I mean, we've got the Orioles, one of those. I mean, they've got the Angels, they've got the Blue Jays, they've got the Red Sox, they've got the Mariners, and they've got the Guardians in September.
The Rays.
Yeah. The Rays have the Guardians, Red Sox, Mariners, the Twins, Orioles. They've got a 4-game series against the Orioles. And then they've got the Angels. They've got Toronto, and then back to Boston, and then Toronto. I mean, geez.
I don't want to be looking for the wild card. I want to win the damn division.
Well, I do too, but good Lord, that team from up north is not losing anytime that we're winning right now. It's just not happening.
So let me throw this. Let me throw this at you too. Okay.
Right now.
The team behind us. Okay. Here's what they have in September. Okay. Starting September 11th. Okay, September 11th. They play nothing but the AL West, other than 3 games against the Dodgers. So they played 3 against the Angels, then they played 3 against the Dodgers. Then this is how they finish out their season: 3 against Oakland, 3 against Texas, 3 against Houston, 3 against the Rangers. So they've got 6 games in the last week and a half against the Rangers and the Astros. We kind of need them to stay close, but not too close.
Are you talking about Seattle?
Yeah. Because again, I'm saying, like, I know we're looking forward and we should be, but those guys are in a position.
Yeah.
The last week and a half to maybe not make. I mean, maybe not make a run at the division title, but make a run at the wild card.
What are they? Okay, that's great. Like that's awesome because that's how they finish. But you're missing like 20 games before that. So,
well, sure.
I mean, what are they? Yeah, what do they do?
Now, that starting in September, it's at the Mets, at Cincinnati, at Tampa Bay. That's a huge, like, kick in the gut right there.
Yeah, that's a slow.
Oh, the Mets are terrible.
But they end, like, we play them late August, and then they go to the White Sox, home against the Royals, home against the A's. So they've got a week and a half. Yeah, they got a week and a half to where they're playing nobody. And I'm only talking about them just because, yes, again, we're looking at the Rangers, but we're only 4 games in front of Seattle, who that can evaporate if we're not taking care of our business as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's fair.
Yeah, the rest of August for them are 4 games against the Royals, us, White Sox, Royals, A's.
Yeah,
that's August for them.
They're going. I'll say it right now. I'll predict it. What is this? August 13th. They will pass the Blue Jays, and they will be in the playoffs, and the Blue Jays won't.
Oh man.
Okay.
That's a hot take.
Well, I mean, what are the Rays? How far are the Rays ahead of the Blue Jays?
The Rays are +5. Blue
Okay.
Jays are even. We're +2.5.
Okay, how
For
far are the
Milwaukee.
Mariners behind? How far are the Mariners behind the Blue Jays?
1.5.
A game and a half.
Mariners are making the playoffs. The Blue Jays are not.
And that's a shame on Toronto.
It is a shame on
Shame on
Toronto.
Toronto.
And again,
That
I mean,
lineup.
yeah, I know they can get hot, but dude, I hate Seattle so much. Their pitching is unreal. Their starting pitching is unreal. The fact that they sold their closer, they should be kicked out anyway. They should be regulated to AAA for a year. But their starting pitching is ridiculous. George Kirby
Yeah.
is one of my favorite dudes to watch pitch, and they've got like 6 of him. I mean, they are going to
Yeah.
make the playoffs, and the Blue Jays are not. Everyone's in love with the Blue Jays. The Mariners are going to make the playoffs, and the Blue Jays are not. Okay.
How about
So-
this? Tampa's only 3 games back from the AL East. So, I mean,
Yeah, the problem with the Tampa is they just lost McClanahan. He's done.
yeah.
So that's a huge issue. I'm
Yeah,
telling
but
you
we-
what, after
We just
after
talked about
playing
what the end of their schedule looks like. It's not. Yeah.
if I will tell you this right now. The Orioles, if they would have got one more starting pitcher, I would have been like, watch out. After seeing them 3 games, and I've followed them from afar, right? There's just so much time,
Sure.
and we're always Astros-centric. They are, by the way, they're the next Astros.
Yeah. They look good.
They are fun to watch. They need a couple free agent pitchers in the off season or make some trades. They are starting pitching away from being watch out. Now,
Yep.
why they didn't get one like Michael Lorenzen was a perfect fit for them.
Yeah.
Whatever. The Astros are better, but they are scary. I mean, those dudes can mash. Adley Rutschman he's phenomenal to watch, pitching and catcher. Okay, that's about the Orioles. We'll move on, but that's interesting. Yeah, man. I mean, when you're talking 43 games left, dude, every game matters. We need to stop winning series and start sweeping some of these teams.
I agree.
Those 12 games will define if we win the West or not.
I think you're right.
Because I
Those
think
3
we'll
games-
I think we'll
those 3
muddle
games-
around 1 or 2. We'll muddle around 1 or 2 ahead of over 500 in the rest. That's where you got to make hay.
Those 3 games in Canada, the 4th, 5th, and 6th are going to be huge.
I gotta go. I gotta make one of those games.
I'm not going. It's way too cold up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so in this time of year, but I just want to go because I haven't been in that stadium, and I just want to cause havoc. Okay, I'm gonna find a way to make.
Oh,
that.
you've been to that stadium. You were at that stadium today.
Huh?
Because it's a replica.
Oh,
They want it to be what
ours looks way better. Way better.
No, they want it to be what we have.
Oh, I know. They want a lot of things we have. Okay.
2 titles.
Damn straight. All right. We're gonna move on to the Dome Foamers player of the week. This is gonna be interesting. Again, I'm gonna go last just because I'm that kind of guy. I mean, I am.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to Brian Dorton first for his Dome Foam player of the week.
Who, me?
You, buddy.
Wait, hold on. Were there any no hitters this?
Oh my gosh.
No,
yeah.
there weren't. All right.
No,
That was
okay.
the river. That was the river talking.
That was the milk and cookies talking right
Yep.
there.
Yep.
All right. My Dome Foamer of the week is going to be Mr. Jose Altuve with
Dang it.
his 13 hits this week, hitting in at a cool 520 and 6 ribbies. 6 ribbies. Jose is back. Enjoy your Dome Foam, my man.
How many hits for the week?
13. 13
If you
for
wanna go-
25.
if you want to go back to a couple podcasts ago, there may have been a certain individual that said he's going to rake and go off in the second half. I don't know who that was, but I
Probably
think
Neil.
you can go back and listen
Probably
to
Neil.
podcasts and figure out who that was. That's all I'm going to say. He deserves it. That guy can get hits in bunches. By the way, I think he's 7, 8 away from 2,000.
Yeah,
Hits.
yeah, man.
Seven.
Unfortunately, it's going to happen in Miami. I was,
Hopefully.
yeah. I think it will. I think he'll get a couple each of the first 2 games, and then
I think he's going to
just go
2
off
for
on that
4,
third
2
game.
for 4, 2 for 4, and then he's
think so.
going to get 2,000 in Houston. I don't know. I don't
hope
really
so.
care where
I hope he gets it in Houston. I really do.
The guy's a machine. The guy's a machine. He was who I wanted.
If he comes back, I would love to go to that game and watch him
100%.
get 2,000. That would be incredible.
He's who I wanted as my dome homer, and Gordon took him. So Neil, what do you got?
I'm going with Kyle Tucker.
Of course, I have. Yeah,
Yep.
so I kind of figured.
Yep. So he's let's see. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits in this last week. 3 homers, and I don't know if y'all saw this. It happened late at night one time. He hit a grand slam in the 9th inning to put us ahead against Baltimore. I don't know if y'all happened to catch that or not.
I don't remember. Was that this week or was that
Monday best win of the year?
Yeah.
Yes. And I just thought that was, again, bad A. And so he's steady Eddie. You know, right now he's floating near 300 overall on the season. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. So
you know what happens every single one of those grand slams and home runs?
I make a TikTok of it. Oh,
that price that we should have paid at the beginning of this year.
That's a great point we need to touch on after my dome phone. Did you hear the posturing by Dana Brown this week?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that.
I don't buy it. Yeah, I don't buy it.
I don't either. Y'all giving me nothing left. So I appreciate that. It's what I'm deserved. It's what I earned and what I've deserved. So mine is going to go to Big John.
Big John.
Yeah. I thought he might be
Big
yours.
John.
For the story.
Yeah.
8 years coming back to the Astros, 2 mammoth home runs.
How about this?
I don't know what he's
coming back.
I don't know.
Coming back from when, like 2013, 2014, 14
15.
or 13?
15.
15 was his last. Yeah, 2015.
Well, but he played in those dark years, like
oh boy,
very dark.
13, right? Where imagine coming back now, right? Like there was nobody in that stadium the last time he was here. Nobody was there.
Was out of baseball.
Yeah.
Played in the Mexican League.
Yeah.
Which is basically slow pitch softball.
No.
Oh, it's not. I thought that's what it was. Okay. And then works his way all the way back. What a story. He gets my dome foam. That's awesome. Again, small sample size. I think he'll be better offensively this year than Abreu. I want to see it. But he gets my dome foam. What a story. And I hope he keeps producing. So there we go. The next short segment is Prospect of the Week. All right. So this is when I knew Corey Lee was expendable. I followed the draft. I followed every pick. They drafted 2 college catchers back to back in the mid-late rounds, 15 and 16. When I saw them do that, I went,
Yeah, why are you doing that if Corey's your guy, right?
Which you always need catchers, right? I mean,
Sure.
you always need them, but you have to develop them. And when they went back to back, and I believe 15 and 16, I went, somebody's on the trade block. Doesn't mean he's going to get traded, but somebody is available. And they drafted, and the reason I'm going with this guy is I don't know what kind of I know what kind of player he's going to be, but I'm very familiar with him. I've seen him play. It's Garrett Gilmet, who played at Texas, tons of raw power, great arm, not the most athletic guy. You know, a bigger, stockier catcher, has a great arm, threw out a ton of runners in major college baseball. I believe hit 12 or 13 home runs last year in a big ballpark. Hit a home run last night as his first major league, first pro home run, playing the minor
I
leagues.
think I saw that one on Twitter.
Yeah. So it's Garrett Gilmet. You know, if they could develop him, I don't know what his ceiling is, but you know, I am familiar with him. He was at USC, transferred to Texas, hit some big home runs and doubles for Texas this past year. Again, we've had one hitting catcher in our entire existence as an organization, and he's playing for us right now as a backup role. So the fact that we can add maybe another that can hit, I'm gonna follow him and watch him. Again, not sure he's the athlete that's to play Major League Baseball, but he can rope, and he can throw. So Garrett Gilmet out of Texas hit his first pro home run last night. He's playing for the A-ball at Fayetteville. So I'm interested to watch him. But again, it was more about seeing them draft him, and then they drafted another college catcher at 16. I was like, there's a move coming. Corey Lee is on the block. And it's just those subtle things that you see, like, okay, makes sense.
Yep.
Any questions regarding that or in the prospect of the minor leagues right now?
I don't think so. I think our two favorites are in New York.
Yeah, they are.
But we've moved on for good cause.
I've taken my Ryan Clifford updates off my phone just because I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Upwards.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now we move on to Neil's segment, the throwback player, and this is sponsored by Victoria Equipment Auction. So at Victoria Equipment Auction, their number one goal is to get you the best price for your equipment in a hassle-free professional manner. Whether you're part of a large corporation looking to clear old equipment out of your inventory, or an individual interested in selling a single piece, Victoria Equipment Auction is ready to go to work for you. Just drop off the equipment, and they will take care of the rest. They had an auction in Victoria on August 12th, yesterday. I was going to go. I thought it was going to be in San Antonio, and it was in Victoria, so I'm hoping they did well. They're great people. You can call Clay at 361-935-2444. They will take anything from trailers to ATVs, side-by-sides, tractors. They're great people. We've known Kenny and Kevin Griffin for a long time. VictoriaEquipmentAuction.com sponsors the Throwback Player of the Week. So, Neil, take it away.
Yeah, so if you guys are able to see the screen behind me, if you're watching this on YouTube or even now that Brian's throwing the video up there on Spotify, you can see the guy behind me is my throwback player of the week, and that guy's
yes, sir,
Billy Dorn, right? Who
Billy D.
This week, Billy D, right? So just this week was inducted into the Astros Hall of Fame with longtime TV guy Bill Brown, who both are just amazing. Brownie. Yes, both
so
amazing.
Good to see
people.
him in the booth, right? And hear him.
Man,
oh, that was awesome.
Just brings back chills. And so today my son and I, we were walking in, and he hadn't set up there in the club level yet, and so we walked through, and I'm showing him where the media place is, and showing him all the team photos on the wall of all the. Going back to the Colt 45s, every team. And then, I saw that the entrance is named after Milo Hamilton. And so just kind of explaining to him who he was, and then got into the conversation of Bill Brown and Bill Dorn being inducted this weekend. So as far as Bill Dorn goes, official name is William Donald Dorn. So there is no Bill, it's just William Donald Dorn.
All right.
Yeah. So he He's from Ohio originally. Graduated in 1977 and ended up playing college ball at Miami University. Graduated from high school in 1977. So Astro plays a couple years at Miami University in the ever popular Oxford, Ohio. Selected by the Astros in the sixth round of the 1979 amateur draft. Got into the majors as a September call up in the 1982 season. Ended up playing 26 games that year, finished off the year batting .278, got 27 hits. So 26 games, 27 hits, good start for him. The 83 season, he ended up starting as the second baseman for the Astros, played 154 games, batting .271 with a .371 on base percentage. He finishes fifth in the Rookie of the Year. So my question to you guys, which I always like to sneak this in on you guys, so this is the 1983 Rookie of the Year. Who is the 1983 Rookie of the Year?
Man, I got every question last podcast right. I got every one right. I counted it. I'm not getting this one right.
I am
D?
not
Hold on.
Googling this.
I'm not either.
Okay.
Look, I got
Definitely
hands
didn't
right here.
Google this.
Yeah, so that's a lie.
That's a lie.
So
Oh,
Christian, I said his name today when we were visiting. You and I were sitting there. I told you head on a swivel. Your front row Crawford boxes, head on a swivel, and I told your son, if it's coming at you, get down. Your dad won't catch it either. And I said I hosed my dad in 1986 because this guy fouled one off in the Astrodome. It was screaming Mimi coming at us down the third base line off his left-handed bat. Who was the guy that I said today?
dude, I did not hear you say that.
Wasn't listening.
It is the one in the 1980. Oh, you're not ready? Oh, okay.
All right.
You're thinking?
He did. He said he was a lefty. Did. And he played at the Dome in 83.
6. I don't even want to say it because then you'll get it. 86 Mets. 86 Mets.
Keith Hernandez.
No. Good guess.
Mookie Wilson.
He's about 6'4" left-handed bat.
Darryl Strawberry.
Long stride.
Did say Strawberry. Long stride. I remember you saying that.
Yep. Yeah, we hosed my dad. He fouled one off in '86. It was coming at us. All my brothers had their gloves, and we duck. my dad sticks his hand out, and I don't know. He probably shattered it, and he just didn't say anything about it. So 1983 Rookie of the Year, Darryl Strawberry. So I, of course, go down a rabbit hole like who else was on that list? Because Bill Doran gets fifth in the voting. There was another Astro on this list who got sixth for Rookie of the Year
in '83.
In '83, which I don't remember which throwback player week it was.
Terry Poole.
But we traded for him. I said his name. It is the Frank DiPino.
Oh my God, I would never guess that.
Yeah, no chance. So other guys in that. Guy that finished second was Craig McMurtry for Atlanta, Mel Hall for Chicago, Gary Reedus for Cincinnati. I mean,
what?
Yeah. So guys that you vanished off the face of the earth, but somehow Bill Doran survived, right? So going back to Bill, Rookie of the Year, right? Or Rookie of the Year, fifth place. In '83, so '84 he actually takes a step back, doesn't play as good as he did, but then in '85 he comes back alive, lights out season, 287 batting average, plays 148 games, 71 walks, 69 strikeouts, which that was his thing. He always had more walks than strikeouts. I mean, he was the bulldog mentality, second baseman for us. That as we grew up, and especially
didn't he usually bat 2?
Yes. So he would bat either, I want to say yes. I don't remember who batted third because the Big Bopper, he batted fourth. Kevin Bass normally batted fifth. So I don't know Billy Hatcher lead off is what I would guess.
Well, I mean, it depends on the year. I mean, they recycled the bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, they went through a bunch.
So anyway, so he regressed in '84, comes alive in '85, leads the league or leads the Astros in runs, hits, walks, stolen bases, and also caught stealing. And that year ended up being the team MVP, and then got some MVP votes actually that year. I think he was down on the list, 15 or so. '86, he's a big part of obviously starting second baseman for the big playoff team. Final game against the Mets, he comes up in the ninth. So again, these are the cool things about the throwback. So we're down 7-4, game 6, ninth inning. It's not looking good. We start making a run. He gets on base, ends up scoring, and so he bats. Davis singles, cuts the lead to 7-6, and then that's when throwback player of the week last week, Kevin Bass, ends up getting struck out to end the game and series. But didn't have the greatest playoff average and experience or numbers, you could say. But again, Bill Dorn is a stud. '87 season, actually loses an arbitration case with the Astros, and I think ends up making about $625,000 a year, I think is what it was. But again, one of his best years, it was again in '87, turns out to be the team MVP, batted .283. Okay, and tell you how old school this is. He played in 162 games.
Awesome. I remember, yeah. I remember him playing on.
Sounds like an Ohtani.
On concrete AstroTurf, by the way.
No doubt. Has a .992 fielding percentage, which is, I mean, he was one of the best fielders that the Astros have ever seen. Way better than defensively wise. It'd be hard pressed to find a better one. And I throw Altuve in there. I'd be interested to see who number wise is a better defensive second baseman for us. And then so in '87 he's the team MVP again. So '85 MVP, '87 team MVP. '88 he regresses, ends up at the end of the season, has some rotator cuff surgery. '89 again gets a little you start to wonder about him. Ends up being in 1990 having a good season with the Astros, but the Astros were awful. And so they end up trading him to Cincinnati. Right. So he goes back to his hometown guys. We trade him for guys named Terry McGriff, Keith Kaiser, and Butch Henry. Those are some stellar names, right? So those guys were all prospects. He actually turned down a trade, which I do remember this. He turns down a trade to the New York Mets, which
good for him.
Again, instant
for him.
Instant love. And so finishes out the season with the Reds, who, by the way, in 1990, go on to win the World Series. But he doesn't play, ends up having back surgery. That after they won the division, he has back surgery, doesn't play any playoff games, so he misses that, but still has a World Series ring. Re-signs with the Reds for 2 years. Ultimately gets taken over by a guy named, which we all know this, but or know who this name is, but I would have never guessed this, but gets taken over at second base by Bip Roberts. When was the last time you heard Bip Roberts? So Bip Roberts takes over for the Cincinnati Reds, and the following year he goes to Milwaukee for part of a season in '93, and then bounces, retires. Spent some time coaching with the Royals, and then actually was the interim manager for the Royals to close out the 2006 season, which I don't remember that. But then spent some time as a coach for the Reds, and then joins the upper management for the Reds a little bit. And apparently today he even referenced that while talking about Dusty Baker and how he loves Dusty Baker and their relationship is so good. And
I love him too.
I don't hold that against old Billy, but Bill Dorn, lifelong favorite, played 10 years for the Astros, top 10 in almost any Astro offensive stat that you want to talk about. Just a top notch, hard nosed baseball player, and he said something about, I think Blummer. Somebody said Blummer asked him why he was the way he was, and he referenced the fact that he played football in high school, and so
That's
you know,
cool.
just that bulldog mentality. But 9 years with the Astros, 267 average overall, 729 OPS. Just an overall lifelong Astros. If you watched the Astros in the 80s, there's no doubt Bill Dorn was one of your
Yeah,
gritted out guys.
he's going to be he's going to be in the top 5 to 10 Astros of anybody who watched them from the 80s on, right? Like,
Sure.
He's up there with
one of my favorites
with the Bopper and Kevin Bass and Biggio and
for sure
everybody. Yeah, he's going to be one of your favorites.
It was cool. It was cool seeing him get the orange jacket. Does that mean, do they retire their number or no? That's another level?
No. Yeah. No, that's not that doesn't work like that.
He was on the radio broadcast today, and I guess I didn't realize he's doing player development right now for the Reds still.
Yeah, and he's up there, right?
Yeah, and but he was talking about there in like 80 or when was that, 80, 88, 89, when Biggio came on the scene, because the guys were asking him about it, and like, did you know that Biggio was on your heels, you know, even though he was catching? And he was like, no, I mean, like, we knew as soon as Biggio got on the field that he was going to be a superstar, but we also knew he was a catcher and he was an all-star catcher, but he was way too fast to be a catcher.
Yeah. That's
and
cool.
He was like, I didn't think that he was going to be a second baseman right then and there, but we knew that he wasn't going to stay behind the plate. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. One of the best, number 19.
Which is always a question, Brian, too, is of why they kept you as a catcher with your speed.
I know.
and arm.
Wah, wah.
You had the body of a catcher and the arm of a second baseman. Is that what you're saying?
I had the body of a statistician and the arm of a statistician.
Correct.
I might not be able to run fast, but I sure can't jump.
Couldn't slide a piece of paper underneath you on your vertical test.
Oh, that's a good one. All right. So we're going to move to we're going to wrap this bad boy up, but we got to do predictions. Here we are. Here we go again. So 3 at the Marlins. We have Valdez, Javier, which I'm not sure how confident I feel on that. And then Verlander, off day Thursday, and then 3 at home versus the Mariners. So statistician Dorton, what do you got? Because you did say 4-2 last week. So.
I've been just this is 3 weeks in a row now that I've been on it. Just letting you know, 3 weeks.
Well, you did say we'd lose 2 to the Orioles and sweep the Angels. So, but I'll give you the 4-2. You're right.
5-1. We sweep the Marlins. We drop 1 to the Mariners.
All right. Mieski?
Man, the Javier one definitely is a concern, but it's not like Valdez is throwing BBs out there either. So there's 2 games at Marlins, and I get it's the Marlins, but good grief. I'm gonna say we're gonna go 4-2. I don't know. I don't even know. I'd be afraid, I should say, to say how that 4-2 is broken down. I'm hopeful. I'll put this out there. I'm a little bit worried about this week. Mainly because of the Seattle series and who we have pitching. Because if we're going France, Urquidy, and
you mean the best pitcher on their team that's not Verlander?
So yeah. So sorry, I said France. I mean Frenchie. But then the Sunday start. I don't know who the Sunday starter is, and Seattle again. I'm I hate to say
It'll
this.
be that.
I'm almost
It'll be Valdez.
I'm almost as worried about Seattle as I am in the Rangers.
I'm
So-
not, but I mean, I get why, but they're still worrying about Jordan hitting that ball where your Otani hit today. It's fair.
So I'm saying 4-2 for the record.
Everything tells me 4-2, but 4-2 ain't gonna get it cut. It's just not gonna cut it. I'm going 5-1 with Dortmund.
I like it. I hope y'all are right. I hope I'm dead wrong.
So do I. It could easily be 4-2. It just better not be 3-3. But I'm gonna be on record as 5-1. So there we go. 5-1, me, 5-1 Dortmund, 4-2 Neil. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Let's go.
Boys, that's going to wrap it up. Like, share, rate, review. We got a couple new subscribers today in the Crawford boxes, so thanks again to the Adams family. We told basically everyone we could see, hey, find us, check out the podcast. We appreciate you guys letting us talk Astros and the text messages and everything that we get. This will be out, Monday as soon as we can get it out. So with all that being said, Neil, it was great seeing you and Mason today.
Likewise.
I don't know how me and you and Brooks and Mason didn't bring home a win. And if that's the case, then I blame Dusty and the fact that Baldy can't get a bunt down. So
Sad.
with that said,
Hang on.
go ahead.
I do want to let everybody know and let all these throwback players of the week know, like at any point in time, we may show up and they may get to meet us because today we did.
That's right.
Jose Cruz did get to meet my son and myself, so that was cool. So
That's
just
pretty awesome.
we don't get to meet them; they get to meet us. Is how we.
Did he say? Did he ask about when he was going to be featured?
No,
He didn't.
I did not. I did not go down the path of dome foamers and throwback players, and we've already covered you. I know. I'm surprised he didn't recognize me. I'm a little upset about that. So clearly he doesn't watch; he just listens.
We've had listeners in like 10 countries, so explain that one. We grow every week, so guys, appreciate it. Thank you for your time, Neil. Good luck again with football practice tomorrow. Get
and
after
school
it.
Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Dorton, when do your kids go?
Tuesday, baby.
I'm the 21st. I mean, what are we doing here?
Of September or
no, October?
October 20th.
October. Yeah,
that sounds right.
So,
Tag.
boys,
Teachers
with
are
that
very
being
far
said, go Stros.
Go Stros.
Go Stros.